Good evening, everyone. Welcome again to the Training Transfer Effectiveness webinar series. It's a series that we do every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. No, it's from 7 p.m. to 8:30, yes, West African time. And in Ghana, that should be 6 to 7:30. In Kenya, that should be 9 to 10:30 if I'm not mistaken. So good evening wherever you may be joining in from. So however, sometimes we don't stay up to that time depending on what we have to discuss. So we give that spans of time to ensure that the times whereby we stay longer, people do not feel you said 30 minutes or 1 hour, we're spending more than. No, we try to stick to the time we tell people, because we know that people are quite very busy. Like today was work day for us all, and you just came back from work, all because you want to learn. You're here, so it's already even a tiring day, an end of day. So we may not stick to the exactly time. We may end earlier than the time we've slotted to have. So I want to welcome you. I think Chinedu is a first timer. So for our first timers, we welcome them with Chikere. Let me press on that and welcome Chinedu. So welcome, Chinedu. Yeah, that's for you. So welcome. So it's a pleasure having you here in our midst. And so I know that we already have Tope is here. I said Tope, the note taker is here. Yeah, Femi is here. So if you don't mind, type into chat and tell us your name and where you're joining in from and what your role is. So I'll take that again. Your name, where you're joining in from, and what your role is in your organization. You can share that, type that into chat, and I would read that out. So once again, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us today. So since I think we started this last week, so what we are doing is a question and answer session. We've been on this webinar since January. We're in June. Wow. I think I need to clap for ourselves. Sams, we need to clap for ourselves. We've been doing this for the past 6 months. We've been doing it for the past 6 months. Thank you, Femi from Lagos, HR business partner. We've been doing this for the past 6 months, and it's not been easy. Sometimes we are fagged out, and I mean fagged out. Yet we still turn up. We still show up. Thanks, Femi. We still show up. So sometimes it's very tiring, but we've got to do what we got to do. This is our own way of adding value, our own way of contributing, our own way of corporate social responsibility, our own way of sharing knowledge with the body of knowledge, our own way of improving the body of knowledge, our own way of improving the industry where we find ourselves. So that's what we are doing. So after we've talked a whole lot, we started by talking about what training transfer effectiveness is all about. We went to about the different models we developed as a business, as an organization we use for clients, the needs validation process model, what it's all about, how it works. It's a 4-process model. We talked about the PDP, which was where we were before we said to take a pause. The PDP model is what we call the during post-training transfer effectiveness model, a model that helps. So the MVP is able to ascertain if the performance issue is a training intervention, a non-training intervention, or an integration of both a training and a non-training intervention. After that has been done, we now follow up with the PDP model, which is a model that whatever training you want to do is designed. The pre is designed, the during is designed, the post is designed. So at the end, you will be able to evaluate and see your return on investment and return on expectation for whichever training initiative you go on, you carry out. So that's what exactly these 2 models are doing for businesses. And we've spoken all about that. And we also talked about training scrap. What exactly is training scrap? Training scrap is that part of training that our employees do not apply. That's basically what training scrap is. Your employees go for training, You pay so much. Let me even share with us. Before, I think I've already started. I've not even introduced myself to Chinedu, but that's fine. Let me share with us a bit. So I got speaking to a GM of HR. He's a friend and he's a friend and a colleague. And he said to me, he said, Sandra, I was having a conversation with my MD just yesterday. So I was speaking to him today. He was saying yesterday, I was having a conversation with my GM of with my MD, my CEO, and he said something to me. He said, all those people we've been sending to Harvard and all them, if you go to Harvard, it's thousands of dollars. I hope you know that. If you don't know that now. You pay thousands of dollars to go for a course in Harvard. So he said, all those money we spent on those people. He now said to him, where is the returns? I can't see the value. And why he said this was, we were already having a conversation when I was telling him about TTE. Now, when I say TTE, I mean training transfer effectiveness. I was telling him about TTE. I was telling him about ROI and ROE. ROI is return on investment. ROE is return on expectation. So I was already giving him that. He was like, Sandra, this is just what I need. This is just what our organization needs. That I was just having a conversation with my CEO just yesterday, and he was telling me all these people they've been sending to Harvard and spending so much on that he cannot see any returns. And I said to him, but that's what happens because the training first, no MVP was done. Needs validation process was not done to find if training is really the need, if training is really the main thing. I know some people like in organizations, they feel it is time. It's your time to go to Harvard. Let's send you. Okay, if you need to do that, why don't you get value from it? Why don't you get value from it by saying, okay, we're going to send you to Harvard, even if we feel you don't need this training. We're sending you to Harvard. Why don't you get value for it by now preparing the pre and during and post before they go to Harvard? What are the things they would learn? Where are they before they go to Harvard? What are the things that they will learn? What are the things that will show when they come back from Harvard that this is what they are doing differently based on going to Harvard? For crying out loud, Harvard is thousands of dollars. Calculate that in Nigeria or in cities. That's so much money, right? So you could decide to do that, not a problem. We are very flexible as a business. You want to do that, you feel that you want to send some category of C-suite members to Harvard, fine, you want to do that, that's not a problem. Now, ensure you get value for it. Get value for your money now. Even though you want to do that, they feel they don't need the drink. Get value for your money. And that's how you strategically plan using the PDP model. You do the pre, you do the during, and you do the post. So I've come to see that sometimes training might not, they just want to, this is what we want to do for our C-suite level people. We want to send them to Harvard. We want to just ensure they have that feel of Harvard. Not a problem. If you want to do that, ensure you get value for your money. And the only way you can get value from your money is when you do this process, the pre, the during, and the post process. Okay, so I was just trying to let you know, because of Chinedu that is here, and for those that may be watching, what some of the things we've done all this week, all this month, the things we've shared and talked about. So we're doing the PDP model. We're just even in the pre-phase. And we're just in the second component because the pre-phase has 5 components. So we're just in the second one, but we decided to have a pause. Let's take feedback. Let's listen to people. Let's help people solve their problems. You've heard so many things we've spoken and all that. Okay, so now from everything you've been hearing, what are the problems you're having as a business? What are the solutions? What are the things? Let's help you to find solutions. So that's where we are now. We decided, let's take a pause. Don't teach anything new again. Don't say anything new again. Let's help people. Let's find out what it is you're doing now. What are the challenges you're facing? Let's help to solve for free. These are things we are paid for, but we try to do it for free. Let's solve organizational problems. Let's help people. So for Chinedu just joining us, Chinedu, I hope you've not introduced yourself. Let me check the chat box. Okay, you've not introduced yourself. I don't know if you're still here with us. Would you mind introducing yourself? Tell us where you're joining in from and what's your role in your organization. Where you're joining in from and what's your role in your organization. And so, while we are at that, what are the challenges you're facing? Are there things, questions you have? So, Femi, over to you. Top Ed note taker is this Top Ed AI that came in. You're here. Then I'm yet to hear from Chinedu. Maybe Chinedu just joined in because we've not heard anything from him. So are there questions you want to ask? Are there challenges you're facing in your organization? Okay, I think I can see something from Chinedu. Let me just read that. Okay. Okay. Chinedu is working in the consulting space. Welcome, Chinedu. Chinedu is joining from Lagos and is currently working in the consulting space. You're welcome. So this is a Q&A, and just like we did last week, if you don't have any question, we will end the call. We will not teach anything new. We will not teach anything new. For the next few weeks, we're not teaching anything new. Let's get those questions. Let those have watched the video, because we are we are all about application as a business. So everything you've been learning, which one have you applied? What have you applied? What are you doing? Certainly not be we are just talking. Don't like just talking. We like doing. We believe in doing. So I don't know if there are any questions you may have now, Femi. Are there questions you may have, clarifications for all we've done? So Q&A, maybe challenges you're facing in your organization, in the business, or all the things we've done for the past how many months that you're not so clear about, you want to ask. So please feel free to, at this time, to share with us. Okay,
thank you very much, Sandra.
Yeah, so, thank you.
What I would just like to say is, for me, it's been a great time of learning, right? However, with my current position, I'm not directly involved in training. But what I have done in conversation with my colleague is to give her an idea of this training. I even shared the link with her, but I'm yet to follow up with her because I know that there's a lot she will take away from it, and that's because every time we have a conversation when they have a conversation within their units, they talk about ROI, but I needed her to listen, to learn, from, the various sessions, and then come up with, questions, that she may, want to get clarifications on, but maybe what I can do is to reach out to her and find out, if she needs any form of support or any form of questions. I'm hoping to transition to something close to this, but because I'm not yet in that space, I am not applying it in practice. But I am quick to talk to my colleague about, hey, we need to look out for this. I recall there was a session that happened. I was in copy of the mail sent out to participants, and I kept on emphasizing, how do we know where these employees are at this moment, with respect to the kind of training, that we're trying to, and then what plan do we have, after this training. There was also an instance of, there's been some employees were coached, they went through a coaching session last year, and then I was asking, okay, the coaching classes, is it really being used now? It would be good for us. So a challenge was thrown at me, but because I'm not yet in that space, the challenge that was thrown at me is come up with how we can measure that the coaching that they went through is being applied. Because I said, we need to know. Because if we've done this training some months back, it would be good to know how much of that is being used within the team. Otherwise, it would have been a waste of money. And to be honest with you, because I'm here to get the details around those who were trained, and then come up with what kind of questions can we ask. even though I don't think I should be the one doing that. The company that the consulting firm that did the training should have organized something, to even assess, if that training is being utilized. But I mean, they've done their part. Okay, they've done what we paid them for. But at the end of the day, the onus falls on us to assess if indeed, the training is being applied. There is transfer effectiveness, like you mentioned, like we've been talking about. So that's what I would like to say, that if I were using it directly, I'm sure I will be able to share more practical, should I say, real life challenges, okay, or get clarifications, based on what I am facing. But because I am yet to get into that space, I'm still doing majorly business partnering. But just a few weeks, there will be a change, and I'm looking forward to, going back. It's like teaching myself again and then trying to apply, what you can learn. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Femi. Thank you for sharing that. Chinedu, I see your question on the chat box. I would answer it. So let me just finish with Femi. Thank you for sharing, Femi. And I think you can do something, Femi. So if you want, okay, let me share. Okay. Yes, you can. They asked you. So let's talk about the problem. Don't turn it down since they've pushed it at you and say, come up with something. So we can, in this class, come up with something. Even though I don't have all the information, but let's try out and come up with something.
Okay.
Now, for you to evaluate, so that is something else as a business we are high on. We are high on evaluating coaching. Nobody has come up with that. This was something we talked about, I think, last year. As a business, we said it's possible to evaluate coaching and see the ROI and ROE of coaching, right? But because we decided as a business that we want to focus on training for now, let's get organizations right with training that later will go on coaching. So that's why we did not venture into it, because we can do that. So the skills in showing ROI and ROE for training, you can also use it in coaching. Now, these people have gone for the coaching. They had the coaching training, they've had the session. Now, the first thing you should do, Femi, is to find out, why did we send these people on coaching? Why did we bring an organization, a consultancy, a consulting company to take our people on coaching? Why? You need to find out that is very important. Now, so that's the first step. What was the reason why coaching, and why then? You said it was last year. Why then? Why? One thing to find out. The second thing to find out from them, those that were involved. Before these people were sent on coaching, what were the things they were seeing?
Okay.
What were the things that they saw that they felt, why is Sandra that will go for coaching? Is Femi that would be involved in this project for coaching? Samson and Chinedu will not be involved. Top Air will be involved. What was the criteria to choose people? There must have been something they're looking at to be able to have that criteria they choose people. What was the criteria about? That's secondly. Now, thirdly, did they take any data? What measurements? What was the first measurement they did? What data did they have? Do they have on these people? Because we've already seen, you can see the first thing. What was the issue? What was the performance issue, or what was the gap? Or is it an improvement? So it's always two things. Is that there's a performance challenge, or there's a performance improvement, or there's a performance consolidation. So it's not that we want to solve problem. Sometimes we are doing well, we want to just consolidate on it to do better. So I want people that are listening to me to know that if you're sending people on training, it's not always that there's a performance challenge. It may be there's a challenge, there's a gap, that's one. Second, it may be that we want to consolidate on what they know. So for instance, their target is 50% and they are hitting their target. They are doing like maybe 55%, which is more than their target. Now we just want to consolidate on that thing that is helping them to do 55. We want to improve on it. There's one room that is never empty, which is the room of improvement. So now I want to consolidate on that and see if they can start doing 70 and see if they can start doing 70. We want to consolidate on that. And so based on that, we want to send them on training to give them the skills to consolidate on that and to make them better. Do you understand? So that's another way. So now find out from them, what data did they get? What data did they gather? What was that data they used? Because you need to look at that data, because that data will now help you to now say, how do I want to evaluate? So with that data and with these three things I've said, now those 2 things and this data, now you can now come up with questionnaire. You were sent on coaching, you had coaching intervention for the past 3 months or 6 months, whatever it is. What has changed? What has changed? Because by then you already know why they were sent on training. So for instance, on coaching program. So for instance, maybe Sandra was sent on this coaching program because they feel that Sandra should, even the challenge I will get is that please prove me wrong, Femi. I want you to prove me wrong. But I know that you will not prove me wrong. I know that whatever objective that they set for this coaching, it will not be smart. But I want you to prove me wrong. It will not be smart. So for instance, a coaching intervention is being given to Sandra. Why? Because we want Sandra to improve on her leadership skills. Femi, that is not a smart objective. What do you mean by improve on her leadership skills? What does that mean? But I'm sure that those are the kind of things you see. So how do you want to measure that? What does improvement mean? Improvement means so many things. What improvement will mean to you, Femi, it will be different to what it will mean to Chinedu, Tope, Samson, myself. But I want you to go and do your what's that word? Go and do your research, go and do and find out. Come. So now, why I'm saying that, because you want to know what has changed. So instead of saying we want Sandra, this coaching to help Sandra to improve her leadership skills, it will be rather that with this coaching intervention, because it's also possible that before, it also depends on how high or what's that word? How big, how large the scope of the coaching was. Because in coaching engagement, we do a 360 degree, because I'm also a certified coach, so I know about coaching. I do coaching. I even have an executive that is starting coaching tomorrow, so I do coaching too. I do executive coaching. I do team and group coaching where I coach the team. We also go coach the group coaching and team coaching. They are 2 different things. Now, so it's possible that because it depends on the scope of it, they will go through a 360 degree assessment. Now, a 360 degree assessment is to assess their top will assess them, their peers will assess them, their below the line will assess them, even some customer facing will assess them. So they will do a 360 degree assessment, and from that 360 degree assessment, they are able to find out what is the thing. There are things that will point the competencies. And now before that, since is a coaching for the organization, I don't know if it was a team coaching you put it or a group coaching. They are 2 different things. So if it was a group coaching, it's very possible that there are competencies, maybe based on your values, that your organization wants people to align with. So you can see I'm just bringing up various scenarios because I don't know what the scenario was. So there might be some competencies we want them to work on and came out. Maybe competencies on delegation, competencies on emotional intelligence, competencies on communication, so it depends. I don't know what you people were all about. So now you will now have to define if it was in communication, what exactly did we draw down on communication? Now, when you're doing a 360 degree assessment, it depends on which one you use. There are so many out there, and I don't know which one your organization used. Now, there are some under communication, there will be some babies, whereby based on what the person will feel, it will now say, okay, he needs to learn to delegate effectively. She micromanages. So from that, those are the things that the coaches will now pick up and work on and say, okay, they say you micromanage. What do you want to do? How do you know you micromanage? How do you want to improve on micromanaging? So each of them must have, based on the kind of, is it group coaching put it or team coaching? I don't know. There are things that they want, these people wanted to work on. So that's where you start from. What are those things you wanted to work on? Did they say that you micromanage a lot? Did they say that you do not delegate? Did they say that you do not have interpersonal, as in you do not have great time to really talk to your direct reports? What did they say? And what did you work on? So these were the things they said. Where were you? So what they would have also done was to find out where the person is. Maybe you're on a 5. Where do you want to be? On a 7. What were the things you're supposed to do to take you to a 7? Now, this timeline has passed. Now, where are you now? Can you see the conversation, Femi? So it's not if you want to see ROI and ROE, it's not just a tick in the box. There's a process, and you have to follow those process. Good soup. Nigeria, for those that are not Nigerians that may be listening to this, in Nigeria we say good soup na money kill am. Good soup na money kill am. So for you to have a good soup, you need to have the money. All the things that are fighting in the soup. You have the chicken, you have the goat meat, you have the shake, you have the pomo, you have the kanda, you have the all of them. So these are the things I think you should start and you should do. I don't know if this helps you, Femi.
Very, very, very helpful. Very, very helpful. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I appreciate.
You're welcome. So I'm cheering you up, Femi. Let's see what you will do.
Yes.
Let's see what you do and how you go about it. We are cheering you up. So feel free to DM me if you get hooked somewhere and say, just DM me on my mobile and just say, Sandra, this is this. So what should I do? Don't worry, I'll help you.
All right, thank you. I will appreciate it.
Okay, you're welcome. So let me read Chinedu's question. I can see Chinedu's question. Chinedu, let's attend to your question. Chinedu said, so excuse me. So I have a question. How do we reposition the place of training within our organizations? I can relate with the idea of assessing the ROI of training at Harvard, but it seems like training within some organization is a thing of status and prestige. That is why some people would have the preference of going to Harvard, LBS, etc. Chinedu, your question is heavy. So let's take it one by one. Now let's start with the first one. So how do we reposition the place of training within our organizations? Beautiful. Let's start with that first. I was speaking to the head of HR of an insurance company this morning. One of the board members asked me to reach out to her and invite her for our conference that is coming up and also just have a chat with her. And I said something to her when I started talking about TT, which is Training Transfer Effectiveness. She said, Sandra, these things you're saying, I will not say I'm surprised because I know it's happening. What did I say to her? I said, a lot of employees see training as a time to pass away. See training as an escape route. They see training as a place, let me go and rest. They see training as for those that travel outside their space. When they say outside their space, for those that travel outside, okay, I was wondering who dropped off. Okay, Topper's note taker has reached his quota. For those that travel outside maybe outside their station, let me put their station, because sometimes they may travel within the same country, but not in the same station. So for instance, in Nigeria, someone in Lagos may be sent to Abuja, or someone in Abuja may be sent to Lagos and all that. Now, even traveling out of their station, they pay for their hotel bills. They give them something for traveling out of their station. They're not to talk of traveling outside the country. They give per diem for traveling outside the country. This is in dollars, hundreds of dollars, some thousands, depending on your level and depending on what your policy says when you're traveling and what they can give. So a lot of employees have seen training as a way of vacation. Some, I'm sure you know public sector. Public sector people that are watching this thing, I'm so sorry. It happens in private sector. However, you people are the ones that have the problem more. They will go for training and they're going for shopping. A 3 days training, they will tell you blatantly that they are going for shopping. Ensure you end your class on time. Well, I don't like doing public sector training because of all these challenges. And day 1, you end by 12 o'clock. Day 2 and day 3 is shopping. Then what did you come for? They came for shopping. They go to Dubai. They go to Ghana. At least there was one I escorted somebody. It wasn't my own training. It was someone's training, and he brought me in as a facilitator. That was before I knew better. That was like, I think that should be 3 years or 4 years ago. Now I know better. Before I knew better. So this colleague told me I should join to be a facilitator. Went to Ghana. I was put in a 5-star hotel, beautiful hotel, right? It was nice. It was wonderful. Day 1, I was told to end on time because they had to go for shopping. Day 2, they went to the museum. They went outing with the car and they went for shopping. I was like, why? Because I left after the second day because I was not supposed to stay that long. So, but what I'm saying is, so they took it as a time for time for shopping. They came for shopping. So now we need to reorientate our employees of what training is. That's where you start repositioning training, the place of training organizations. Now, a lot of MDs and CEOs and stakeholder management as an management, they've seen some of them, they don't see the value of training. And that's why when they need to slash cost, they go for training budget. They need to slash, they are looking for where to slash cost. They go to training budget. They will not touch sales, so they will not touch sales budget. They go to training budget and slash training because they have not seen the value of training. I have shared in one of these webinars in the class where I was teaching CEOs, and one of them told us all, not just me, everyone, that any staff he sends on training, he takes it from their salary. Say he has not seen value, that he spends millions every year on training. Now, what kind of nonsense is that? No, anybody that wants to go on training now, he will take it from their salary, and he's doing it. And he proudly said it. So you can see that these people have not seen value on training. And now the problem beyond begs for the CEO themselves and the HR, and that's why as a business, we are trying to create an opportunity. If it's just 15 minutes with CEOs of businesses, because they are also the problem. Also, HR and L&D, they also have their own problem too, because they are not even doing their work. They don't even have knowledge. They don't have the skill. How do you want to? I had a webinar and I was asking people, I said, how many of you know about the 4 levels of evaluation, Kirkpatrick? Only like 5 or 7 people knew. How many of you know about transfer effectiveness? The 12 levers of transfer effectiveness that helps you to show transfer. Nobody knew that one. I say, how many of you know about training scrap? Nobody knows. Excuse me, these are things you need as L&D and HR. You need to know how to measure. Many of you have even heard of Robert Brenkerhoff. They've not heard about him. Robert Brenkerhoff is the godfather of evaluation. He's the godfather of evaluation. Anybody that in L&D and HR, you don't know Robert Brenkerhoff, you've not even started. You don't know him. Or anybody that doesn't know Kirkpatrick, you don't even know. Then that means you've not even started at all. But a lot of them don't know these things. Their own is to be doing HR and L&D, to send people on training, and they do satisfaction. The hotel was good. The facilitator was nice. Is that how you want to get return on investment and return on expectation? No, you will not. So the first thing to do, Chinedu, back to your question, how to reposition the place of training within our organization, is to reorientate the employees. And all hands must be on deck. The CEO, the L&D, the HR. And say, gone are those days that training is a tick in the box. Training is a strategic component in every business. It's not a tick in the box. Gone are the days whereby we see training as an event. Training is not an event. Training is an ongoing activity. It's strategic. It's supposed to turn the dial on your bottom line. It's supposed to make an impact in your business. That's what training is. We've gotten it wrong, and we need to get it right. So it starts from your orientation. reorientate your employees, change their mindset. And I tell people, don't bite more than you can chew. Little drops of water make an ocean. Start small. Start from that, creating the awareness. Reorientation. Come up with a strategy. Come up with how to do it, what we'll be doing. This is where we want to start now. I want to create reorientation of what training is all about, the values. Let me tell you, some employees, they don't see the value of the training. I've been in a training where some employees asked me, they told me, "Madam, I don't know why they sent me on this training. I don't need this training." Can you see where the problem is? Said, "I don't need this training." Another one told me, "I did this training last year and they're sending me this year. I don't know why they're sending me." Since HR is just looking for who to send on program. So I know of someone that also told me during training, said that their HR doesn't even have mouth. That HR cannot even talk. That anything they say, the HR is, "Oh yes, member." That the HR is a toothless bulldog. This was what a C-suite member said about HR. I felt so much pain. I felt bad. That means they are not adding value. That HR in that organization is not adding value. So it starts from reorientation, and that reorientation will help them to understand that training, gone are the days whereby training is a tick in the box. Training is where we're going to have fun. No, training is now a strategic tool. It's a strategic intent whereby we want to use it to turn around this business, turn around this organization. We want to use it to show ROI and ROE. We want to use it to make an impact in the business. I hope so. That's how we can reposition the place of training. When you start that creating awareness, now start working with the HR and L&D. They need to understand themselves what exactly training is. They need to know that training is not L&D. Training and development is not learning and development. Training is a component of learning and development. Training is just a form of L&D, of learning. I wrote a paper on that. If for those of you that it's on GLC. So GLC is Grow Learn Connect. It's the website. It's website of the group by the IFC, International Finance Corporation. So if you go to GLC, you will see that I wrote something on that, like that 2 or 3 years ago. So there are other L&D initiatives. We have training, we have coaching, we have mentoring, we have on the job, we have job assignment, to relocate someone from what person is doing, and reassign the person to that place because you found that the challenge person is having, it's not that the person is not good enough. Maybe we need to reassign this person from this department to another department. So another way. So there are various ways. So training is just a form, a component of learning and development. They need to now understand that and know that training is not the solution to all challenges. Understand how to go about training. Understand the implications. Understand the process. Understand that line managers will not just come to you and tell you, "Send my people on leadership training." You just say, you just start asking organizations to submit proposal and you just send them. No, you have a conversation with line managers. Why do you want those people to go on this training? What will be the impact when they come back? What behaviors do you want to see change? What will this impact your department, the bottom line of your department? How would it help your department? These are the conversations you should have with line managers and not just say yes to everything they ask for. Okay, I hope that answers. Let me even ask before I go to the next question. Chinedu, I'm sure where you are, maybe you cannot, or you can type into chat. Does this help you to answer the question you asked, how to reposition the place of training within our organizations? Does this help? Has this helped? Okay, Chinedu says, yes, it does very much. Thank you. Great. So let's answer the second one. Chinedu says, I can relate with the idea of assessing the ROI of training at Harvard, but it seems like training within some organizations is a thing of status and prestige. That's why some people will have the preference of going to Harvard, LBS, etc. Now, let me tell you, Chinedu, even is it training at Harvard or LBS? I've seen people that have gone for training in those places. I told you of it, but I don't know if you had already joined. If I talked of the one that the MD was saying, the CEO was telling the GM of HR that he has sent people on Harvard, he cannot see the returns. So it's not. If you do not plan returns, you will not see it. That's what it is. The GM of HR was telling me that he was having a conversation with the CEO, and CEO said he has been sending people on to Harvard thousands of dollars. He cannot see any returns on it. Yes, he will not see any returns because it wasn't planned. It wasn't strategically planned. Now, so it's not about the LBS, Lagos Business School, or the Harvard Business School. No, it's not about that. It's about planning that even if you want to send people to Harvard or LBS, why are you sending them there? If you're sending them just to say thank you, fine, you want to say thank you to them, not a problem. It's a gift, right? Okay? Because I cannot change your mind. No matter what I say, that's what you want to do, not a problem. Now, please, if you want to give them a gift, can you get returns on that gift you're giving them? Can you get value from it? Can you please help yourself so you get value from those thousands of dollars? Now that brings you to, that means you don't work on the first model, which is the MVP model, leave that model. Work on the second model, work with the second model, which is the PDP model. Now, before they go to that Harvard, find out what it is they're going to get. What is the content of the training they're going to in Harvard? Now, based on that, design the pre. Where are they in this, based on this content they want to go to Harvard for? When they come back from Harvard, from this thing they would learn, what do we want to see them doing differently? Even if it is a gift for them, at least get value now. Please, I'm begging you. Get value for your money. Harvard and LBS is not small, it's not beans, it's not small money. When they go, what we will see. Some persons will tell me, what about people? I know of someone that was saying that, Sandra, I am resigning, I'm retiring in 3 months, 6 months, and they're sending me to this business school, to ESA business school. What am I going to use that for? So for such person, you can still get something from such person. They felt that is a way of, she said, she was even like saying, why didn't they send me all this? Why now? I'm just retiring in 6 months time and they're sending me to ESA, paying so much. Not a problem. If you want to say thank you to her for all her services, I want to send her to ESA. Not a problem. Within that, before she leaves that 6 months, what value, at least get some value from what you do, the thousands, or unless you don't want to get it, you don't mind wasting so much money. Not a problem. There's some organizations, they don't mind wasting money. Not a problem. So it all depends on where you are in your organization, what you want as an organization, what you call important to you. There's some organization, they don't mind. We are saying thank you to them. We can send them to Harvard, ESA, Lagos Business School. Even though you don't get value, not a problem. That's fine. That's your decision. So I hope this does this also help you answer? Have I answered the second part of the question, Chinedu? You can type into chat if I've answered the second part. Okay. Yes, you have. Thank you. You're welcome, Chinedu. I can see that. Thank you. You're welcome. So, are there any more questions? If there are no more questions, we'll take announcement and we will go. We will sign off for today until we meet again next week. Are there questions? More questions from you, Femi or Chinedu? Okay, if there's none, I just want to say thank you, Femi and Chinedu, for coming on board. So I just want to, if you notice, if you can see at my background, so we are doing the very first, it's called the International Training Transfer Effectiveness Conference. We call it ITEC 2025. It's the world's first. You're welcome, Femi. Thank you very much. You're welcome. It's the world's first conference on training transfer effectiveness. It's nowhere. It has never been done in Nigeria. It has never been done in Africa. It has never been done in Asia, Europe, USA, North America. Nowhere it has been done. This is the first in the world. I think we need to hail ourselves. Something, please, let's hail ourselves. It's not a small thing. It's not a small feat. We are doing for ourselves. It's not a small feat. That's from us. That's hailing ourselves. So it is the very first of its kind, and it's going to be holding in Lagos, Nigeria, November 13 and 14 this year, 2025, at the Lagos Oriental Hotel. We're going to be having speakers from all over the globe. Our keynote speaker is Melanie Martinelli. She's the CEO of the Institute for Transfer Effectiveness. And she's coming all the way from Switzerland for this conference. She has even bought her ticket. Yeah. So she's coming all the way. We also have Tom Mayer, who is in charge of he's the director of the Center for Accelerated Learning. Even in that class, I asked who knows, these are HR and L&D. I asked them who knows about accelerated learning. Nobody. He's the director of the center. He's coming all the way from Chicago. We also have Anna Langita coming all the way from Germany. Then we have the Nigeria and the Africans coming too. We're going to have 22 speakers. These are subject matter experts that are coming. That are talking about researchers. We're talking about C-suite members. We're talking about L&D directors, HR, even line managers. We're going to have a panel where line managers will talk about why are they the challenge. Why are we not seeing them do what we need them to do? Because HR is complaining about line managers. L&D, they are crying. Even in the Ghana breakfast meeting I went in Ghana, they were really complaining about line managers. So we want to focus on line managers. Line managers, why are you people giving HR and L&D problem? Why are you people not doing what HR and L&D want you to do? Then let us hear from them and hear what you are HR and L&D are not doing. Why? That's why they are giving you problem. To them, they are not giving you any problem. You're the one seeing it as problem. So we're going to have a panel of line managers. They'll be having that discussion. So it's a conference not to miss. It's already, go online, go to www.mbrandconsultinggroup.com. I'll take that again, www.mbrandconsultinggroup.com. When you go to our website, just click on ITT conference, which is a conference, and you'll take it to our website. And with that, sign up. The early bird ends, the standard rate, we have the standard rate, but the early bird ends end of June. So if you want to hinge on to the early bird, go and sign up now. If not, you're going to do the standard rate. Right. So it's a 2 days conference and bringing global speakers from all over. I'll also be speaking on in the conference too. Now, for those that will be attending the conference, we are partnering with ITE, Institute for Transfer Effectiveness. We are partnering with the Center for Accelerated Learning. We are partnering with Kirkpatrick too. I'm also partnering with IFC and LPI to bring these certifications at a very high discounted rate. All these certifications, I have them. And I paid in thousands of euros. So for ITE, when I did mine, I paid in thousands of euros, yes, to get my certification. So I'm the certified transfer designer, the first certified transfer designer for Nigeria. Then I'm the transfer enabler for Africa. So for the Institute for Transfer Effectiveness, I'm their transfer enabler. And what does that mean? I go around Africa certifying people on the 12 levers of transfer effectiveness, bringing them so we're all about transfer. How can you transfer, which is the training? How do people apply their training? And we use the model developed by Dr. Ina Webriam. It's called the 12 levers of transfer effectiveness. So that's what I do for IT. I'm in charge of Africa doing that for them. So all these certifications came, check them online. IT, go there, check how much it is in thousands of euros. Accelerated Learning, go to their website, check how much it is in thousands of dollars. Kirkpatrick, go there, check how much it is in thousands of dollars, your certification. IFC and LPI, go and check how much it is again. So, but as long as you register for the conference, you're getting a discounted price. For the conference, you're getting a discounted price. So take this opportunity. That means if you attend the conference, you can get 4 certification as a result of joining the conference. So that's one of the benefits of joining the conference. Okay, thank you so much, Femi. Not a problem. Thank you. Then lastly, we also have a program called the Mastermind. It's an 18 weeks program. It is at a separate cost now. So signing on for the iTech conference gives you a leverage, gives you a ticket to get those certifications at the discounted rate. So for instance, the Kirkpatrick certification, the bronze level, is about $2,000 something, if I'm not mistaken. But if you come for iTech conference, because you're going to be having that certification after the conference. For those that pay, we'll tell you the dates we'll be having it. They'll be physical. We're having them after the conference. So if you pay, instead of paying $2,000 something, you'll be paying less than that. You'll be paying less than that. Why? Because you came for the conference. So that's what it means. Of course, you have to pay. You cannot pay. For those that are, for Nigerians, the cost is 180,000. You cannot pay 180,000. That's which is the standard rate. I want to enjoy training worth millions of naira. Or for those in that international, you cannot pay $850. I want to enjoy training worth $2,000 something. No. With $850, no. Combination of all that, no. So you will pay, however, it will be at a discounted rate, not the going rate for if you go to the website of these organizations. That's what I mean. So we have what we call the masterminds, an 18 weeks intensive training. It's a program for HR directors, L&D directors, and for consultants if they want to come for it. But you have to have a training as a capstone project you use. Okay, you can also maybe use that with the clients you have. So it's an 18 weeks program. Every week, as you are being taught, you are applying. That's just what it is. At the end, you should see ROI and ROE of whatever training you bring as your capstone project. So it's an 18 weeks program. We are starting July 1 and we are ending it in, I think, September or October, if I'm not mistaken. Samson, correct me, that's September ending or first week in October. So that is on, and it's going to be virtual online. So if you've not, you can also have opportunity to sign up for that. You can send us a message or you go to our same thing. So when you go to our website, www.mbrandconsultinggroup.com, you would see the LMS. So you click on it, it will take you there. You register and you can go in and sign. Or you can send us an email with the subject mastermind to info@mbrandconsultinggroup.com. info@mbrandconsultinggroup.com. So on this note, I just want to say thank you very much. We look forward to seeing you again next week, Thursday. Thank you, everyone, and do have a beautiful night rest. Bye.